Welcome to tonight's Stock Car Steel SRI Supply Motorsports Report. I'm Tom Baker along with Kyle Souza, and we look forward to 30 minutes of fast-paced motorsports coverage for you, covering late models and pavement modifieds. We are going to hear Woody Pitcat, one of the Wheel and Modified Tour regulars, in just a few moments. But first, Kyle, first of all, welcome to the program. And second of all, the North-South Shootout took place at Caraway Speedway in North Carolina last week. And certainly what a race it was. And a great winner from the North picked up the win in the late model division.
Well, Tom, glad to be on here on a Thursday night with you. Well, you know, the North-South Shootout has come over in the past couple of seasons to have a great pass portion of the event. And this past Saturday afternoon at the Caraway Speedway, it was nothing different than the past couple of seasons. The beginning of the race seemed to be Kyle Grissom out front, dominating the event with Daniel Hemrick all over him. Well, Hemrick made the pass on lap 128. And towards the end, they were side by side for a late race caution. Well, they took the green flag off a restart. Hemrick came up the track into Grissom. When they both spun the tires, they made contact and they took out the top 5 cars. Jay Fogelman was up in 7th at the time. Ben Rowe was 6th. Well, they both got through it. Multiple cars taken out in front of them, and they found themselves finishing 1-2. Ben Rowe taking back the title up here to the north for the North-South Shootout. Fogelman finished 2nd, and Jay is the 2013 past competitor up here in the north with Ben. So they both have some severe experience up here in the north. Not really at Caraway, but it was nice to see them take the victory. Ted Mickelson finished 3rd, Randy Gentry 4th, Spencer Davis 5th. Tom, I know we talked last week that the North guys were going to head down there, a couple of them at least, and Ben Rowe still strong in the past tour.
Yeah, definitely. You know, Ben is a guy who comes down from the north every year and runs well. He comes down sporadically for some of the past shows here, and I always enjoy watching Ben run. He's been around a long time. Very clean competitor, just a really nice guy to talk to, and it was good to see him pick up the win. Really unfortunate, though, for the way that it ended up happening there with, the last lap crash that took out Daniel Hemrick, a couple of the other cars.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate. All of those cars that had strong runs going, and sometimes in racing, it's just those small misfortunes going for the win at the North-South Shootout that end up taking them away. But unfortunately for the past, that race was over an hour, a couple of accidents that were a little bit longer in distance. The other race, though, the big one on the day, was the North-South Shootout Tour Type Modified portion. Matt Hirschman went into the event winning it 4 times in the past. Well, he made it 5 in the 11th annual Johnny Bouitt North-South Shootout 125. He made a pass over leader George Brunholzer III on lap 74 with a crossover move and never looked back, taking his 5th victory at the Caraway Speedway. He passed Gary Putnam to run 2nd and then crossed over Brunholzer on a lap 74 restart to take the victory, never looking back. Brunholzer able to hang on, though, for a solid finish up there in the top 2. Andy Sykes had won at Caraway earlier this season in Modified. He finished 3rd, Brian Lofton 4th, and Valenti Modified Racing Series standout Tommy Barrett going down there to finish 5th. 26 Modifieds took the green flag. In this case, the Modifieds down at Caraway had a great showing. One of their best in the past couple of seasons. Limited amount of caution flags during the event, except one big pileup. It was a great North-South Shootout, not only for the Modifieds in past tour, but Josh Nichols picked up the Modified late win, and to nobody's surprise, Dennis Lambert took the 25-lap race in the Legend cars, Tom.
Yeah, definitely. Matt Hirschman's another one of those guys. I mean, he is always up front at this race. He was up front when they used to run it at Concord's Motor Speedway, Concord Motorsports Park down here in the Concord area, and he's just as far up front with it being at Caraway. But Georgie Brunholzer really just doing a fine job. George is another one of those drivers that just loves Caraway Speedway, and you don't get to be a 3-time consecutive Southern Wheel and Modified Tour champion by accident.
George Brunholzer had a strong car at Caraway this weekend. He was all over Matt Hirschman, even for the final laps. Hirschman not taking this one easily. He's taken some of the other 4 pretty easily. Of course, former winners of the event were Burt Myers, finishing up in the top 10 this past weekend. Other competitors in the top 10 included New England native Charlie Pastriak, Jason Myers, 7th. Chuck Hosfeld, Ronnie Silk, Tommy Neal was your top 10. Good to see some of the northern guys down there competing strong, and also good to see some of the southern guys able to stay strong with the north-south shootout down there at Caraway this past weekend.
Yeah, and in case anybody's wondering, well, where's Ryan Preece in this finish? Well, Ryan elected not to race. So Ryan not in the field this weekend. He will be running the Turkey Derby, however, at Wall Stadium, he tells me, coming up on Thanksgiving weekend. So we can look for Ryan there, and I'm sure he'll be doing some indoor TQ racing over the winter as well.
Yeah, Ryan Preece is going to be strong. For TQ racing coming up in Atlantic City in, I believe, January or February is going to be interesting to see. The race is not up in Providence, Rhode Island this season. Unfortunately, some financial issues took that away from the Dunkin' Donuts Center. But Atlantic City and New Jersey both going to have strong competitors at the TQ races. Those are always fun to get you through the winter months up here in New England.
Absolutely. We're going to take our first break the evening, actually, and then we will go and hear from one of the top wheel and modified drivers, Woody Pitkat, going to be joining us right after our break. We will be back shortly here on the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Report. You are listening to Speed 77 Radio and Race Chaser Online. Stay with us. For 17 years, Stock Car Steel has been a leading materials supplier to the racing industry. We're proud they're a motorsports content partner here at Race Chaser Online. The biggest names in NASCAR trust Stock Car Steel for raw materials such as carbon steel, chrome moly, DOM, aluminum, plastics, and much more. You can't build a race car without the basic materials, and Stock Car Steel is the place to get them. Don't forget to also visit Stock Car Steel's sister company, SRI Supplies, for racing and industry. SRI is the place to go for all your shop supply needs. Nuts, bolts, rivets, tapes, adhesives, cutting tools, chemicals, body shop supplies, paint shop supplies, lubricants, and more. A well-stocked race shop is a winning race shop, and the path to winning begins with 3 letters, SRI. For more information, visit stockcarsteel.com or SRI-supplies.com. Check them both out on Facebook or call them toll-free at 1-888-752-7272, 1-888-752-7272.
Packers,
Vikings,
Red State,
Blue State.
We come from different places.
Uptown,
Downtown.
We come to different conclusions.
half empty,
Half full.
But no matter how different we are, we're all connected, and we can all make a difference. That's why United Way brings people, expertise, and resources together to improve the education, income, and health of our communities, the building blocks for a better life. When we live united, our efforts, magnified by others, add up to real change. Children succeed in school, families gain financial stability, the health of our neighbors improves, and suddenly, so do our communities. But real change won't happen without you.
Live united.
So let's look beyond our differences.
Live united.
One by one, let's make a difference. Let's reach out a hand to one and influence the condition of all.
Live united.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. Sign up today at liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
I'm Jacob Seelman.
And I'm Tom Baker.
You're listening to Speed 77 Radio,
Powered by Race Chaser Online.
We are your home for motorsports.
Welcome back to Stock Car Steel, a motorsports report. Tom Baker and Kyle Souza with you on Speed 77 Radio and Race Chaser Online. Now on the program, one of the top wheel and modified tour competitors from up in New England, Woody Pitkat, and let's talk with Woody. Woody, welcome to the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Report. I wanted to first start by congratulating you on a 9th place finish in the Wheel and Modified Tour point standings this season. Not a bad year for Woody Pitkat, all things being considered.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I can't complain. Going into the fall final there at Stafford, I think we were like 6 or 7 points out of 3rd place, so was really hoping to try to, finish in the top 5 in the points for David and Sandra. And unfortunately we had a rear end break there, and then we struggled a little bit at Thompson. So, it definitely bounced us down there to 9th. It was real close, and it kind of stinks because you work so hard, every race, week in and week out, and you gain a little more, you gain a little bit more, and then, all in one race, we dropped from fourth to tied for eighth. So it's just a matter of one race we dropped like that. So unfortunately, it kind of stunk, but a ninth place is good, especially on the tour top 10, and we'll just look for next year to go a little bit better.
Yeah, it's definitely a very competitive tour for sure. You really started out well this season, and it seemed like the last, half dozen races or so, it just kind of all went the opposite direction for you.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like right around probably Bristol. We had that real bad wreck at Bristol, and that put us behind the eight ball a little bit. We had some good, finishes at some smaller tracks there that we probably, or I wouldn't have thought we would have done as good as we did. We finished 6th and 4th at Riverhead, which was, really good. The second time that when I finished 4th, I think I was the highest regular at the track to finish that high. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then I want to say we finished 9th or 10th at Monadnock. So we ran pretty good at the tracks that we didn't think we would, but kind of struggled at the tracks that I run weekly and stuff like that. So I don't know, just, towards the end of the year, it kind of just hurt. We kind of knew that we weren't going to be able to come back. Sandra had to sell the business because obviously times are tough, and with the economy and everything, and not much money or sponsorship out there, kind of had to close the doors there. So I wouldn't say that really hurt us, because if anything, we wanted to finish better than we did. We wanted to go out on a good note, but we just had some bad luck there. Like I said, week in and week out, we were finishing top 5, top 10, and gaining in the points, and then we just had our bad races there towards the end of the year. So just have to move on, and hopefully they can, find something where they can get back on the tour, because they're a great bunch of people, and, if it wasn't for them, I, obviously wouldn't probably be on the tour, because that's where I started. So hopefully they can find something, and, I'm excited looking to next year with the ride that I have. Is definitely a dream opportunity for me, definitely the best opportunity I've had in my racing career. So I can't wait. I was hoping, we could start right now, but obviously I have to wait a couple months before we can get out there.
Talk a little bit more in detail about your plans for 2014, who you're going to be with, and what the situation is.
Yeah, on the modified tour, I'm going to be driving for Bart Shoe. He owns a dealership out of Long Island, the race cars store up in upstate New York, up by Lake George. Crew chief spot, I kind of known all those guys through my motor builder, Billy the Kid. They had the same motor builder. So back when Brian was running what was called the Busch East at the time, I got a chance to practice their car at Thompson and help them a little bit. And then actually bought my truck from Buzz, and my mother bought her truck from Buzz. So we have a little bit of relationship. I don't really know them to say that we're good friends, but I know of them and know everybody. So they have definitely top-notch equipment. And I can't wait, obviously, like I said, Billy the Kid, horsepower. I've been with Billy. He's been in my late model and SK stuff since day one, and this will be my first time to see what he can put under the hood of a Whelen modified tour car. So I can't wait for that. And then I got my same ride at Thompson, the 00. Jimmy Page owns the car. He's out of Blacksville, Massachusetts, which is pretty close to Rhode Island, but it's pretty close to Thompson for him. And that's the same thing. It's great equipment, awesome ride. We're always up front at Thompson with that. He actually gives me a motor to use at Stafford, which is a huge help. I probably wouldn't have anything at Stafford if it wasn't for him. So actually this year I got a new ride at Stafford. I'll be driving for Adam Scavera and his family. My team that I just won the championship with, Steve Greer, the Gunsmoke Stables, unfortunately had a prior commitment for 2014 before I got into that car with those guys, and just can't thank them enough, for obviously giving me the opportunity that they did and go out there and get a championship with a new team after, trying so hard. I think I finished 5 out of the last 7 years. I think I finished second in the points. So, to finally top that off and get the championship for those guys was great. And I look forward to trying something new again at Stafford next year with Severos. And then doing the same thing with the late model at Stafford. Bill Snow is the car owner. He's out of New Haven. He owns a body shop in New Haven, and just all a bunch of great people. I'm really fortunate and really blessed to have the people that I have, car owners that I have that just shows the passion and the willingness to go out there and give you the best that they can, and to go out there and win races and championships. And for me, it's just a dream come true, really, to have all these people, and it just shows that hard work definitely pays off if you work hard, because we pretty much did it probably the first 8 or 10 years all on our own. My parents went without their own personal vehicles or whatever just to get me out on the track to keep doing what I love to do. So just can't thank all of them enough, and I can't wait to get 2014 rolling.
Well, it must be a lot of fun for you to be able to jump back and forth between the late model and the modified. Talk a little bit about the difference and what that requires from you as a driver and how you have to drive those two cars differently.
Yeah, it definitely, the first time that I did it, it was definitely a huge change. I remember going out in the late model and trying to drive it down there in the turn 3 in the heat race like I did the SK, and it didn't work out. Forgot who it was, but the guy, I ended up spinning him out and putting him in the wall. So he backed it in. I said, I guess I can't do that. So it definitely, the first 5 or 6 laps when I first did it would definitely be a little time to have to adapt. But I think now just doing it so many times, I think I've done it probably 5 or 6 years now. I think your mind and your body, just knows what you're doing, and you see it. I think more and more you see it. Ryan Priest jumps into other cars, and especially Keith Rocco, he jumps in the late models, and NEMA midgets and all kinds of stuff, or NEMA light and modifieds, big modifieds, little modifieds. And then once you just do it, your body kind of knows what's going on. But it's definitely a little bit of a challenge. You can't honestly drive them the same. The late model obviously is a lot heavier with smaller tires where you can kind of manhandle it and bounce off people a little bit, where the open wheel modified is a lot lighter, a little bit more horsepower, big wheels, no fenders, so you got to kind of watch what you're doing there. You can't obviously rub a guy like you could with a late model, but it's definitely fun. I kind of use the late model a little bit, probably not as serious as I do with the SK. I kind of just get in that and kind of pretend it's kind of like my 4-wheeler on the weekends, just going out and having fun. I get to probably take the SK a little bit more seriously because, like I said, I was trying to win that championship for so many years. Now that I got that done, obviously, still going to want to win another one. But I don't know. The late model is just, like I said, very lucky. Show up, just drive, get in the car, tell them what it's doing, and then go back to the SK. And that's another thing that you have to have too. Is everybody needs to be on the same page, and everybody needs to know. Especially when you got the modified tour in Stafford, and you're running 3 cars. Everybody's going to know that they're not going to be the top priority, and they all understand that, and they know what I'm trying to do. And it's tough to find people like that, to say, all right, I'm going to be 3rd string tonight instead of 1st. And they all know what I'm out to do and what I love to do. And like I said, I can't appreciate it enough to have those guys backing me.
It is pretty special for sure. One of the questions I get asked all the time to ask you guys that run at Bristol is, what's it like to race a modified car at Bristol Motor Speedway?
Yeah, that's definitely no other. That's for sure. I want to say, I think Todd Zegedy or somebody said the G-forces there one time. I forgot what the exact G-force was, but it was more than any roller coaster at Six Flags, and it's pretty crazy. You can definitely feel it if you ain't get your seatbelts tight. You're pretty much getting pushed right into the seat. It's pretty hairy. When time trial, when you're on new tires, you can almost pretty much be full throttle around that place, which is like no other. And when you get out there and you get in a race, I feel like I'm always better, out in a race chasing somebody instead of just putting laps down in practice or in time trials. But when you get out there and you can kind of judge off of people and stuff, you're pretty, it's pretty hairy. You're almost not out of the throttle at all. I know you're pretty much, you don't get out of it full. You get out of it a little bit, but it's definitely hairy. And if you're probably 10th on back on a restart, you can't even see the leader. So, you got to rely on your spotter to take care of that. But yeah, it's definitely not one thing. Thank you.
I'll get you out of here on this question. A lot of folks are talking about the future of the Wheel and Modified Tour and people leaving the tour and what it's going to look like in 2014. What are you hearing and what are your thoughts as to the current state of the Modified Tour and where you see it going?
Well, I mean, obviously, I would hope that it would be, you'd be trying to grow it, but it does seem like every year they add new rules or they add, new changes to the cars to try to save money in it. And at first, it's always, more money for the car owners and the teams. So that is always tough. Unfortunately, the schedule doesn't come out until usually the tour banquet. So, it's kind of hard if anybody's planning, especially if there's going to be a race in Florida. I think that's kind of, I don't know how you would word it, but I think, that they probably should get that out because it's only not that far away. So, I mean, I think, all the racing revenues that we go to are good. They're trying to get more TV and all that stuff. I definitely Phil Curtis from Wheeling, if it wasn't for him, I don't know where the tour would be because he's obviously pushing hard for us. And, I know times are tough with, trying to get the track and stuff. So, and you see, all the time where people might have to run half a season or split a season with another team. I don't know. I mean, it would stink if it left because, I don't know how many people, a lot of people probably don't realize, but that's what NASCAR started with, were, the modified. So you would think, if anything, they would try to push for more, but I don't know. Hopefully, if they can just keep trying to work on it and get some more tracks, and, it'd be nice to go back to, like, a Richmond or Nazareth or those places I've never been to, or maybe add something new like an IRP or something, but I don't know, obviously, I'm not in charge of any of that stuff, but hopefully what, everybody's gripe is seen and somebody will, take up on it and just try to make it better every year. I know Jimmy Wilson did an outstanding job, his first year, taking over as the director and stuff, and I don't know, I think it's okay. I guess I haven't been into it enough, I've only really ran the whole season this past year. This was the first time since, like, 2009, so I don't know, I guess I never really thought of it that much until you threw that question to me.
Well, Woody, we certainly look forward to what you're going to be doing next year, and congratulations on the success that you've had and all the opportunities that you've gotten over the past several seasons here. Looks like 2014 could be a big year for you, and we definitely appreciate you taking some time to talk to us tonight on the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Report, and we wish you the happiest of holiday seasons and look forward to talking with you as we get into 2014.
All right, thanks, you too. Thanks for having me.
That's Woody Pitcairn. You are listening to the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Report on Speed 77 Radio and Race Chaser Online. Stay with us. For 17 years, Stock Car Steel has been a leading materials supplier to the racing industry. We're proud they're a motorsports content partner here at Race Chaser Online. The biggest names in NASCAR trust Stock Car Steel for raw materials such as carbon steel, chrome moly, DOM, aluminum, plastics, and much more. You can't build a race car without the basic materials, and Stock Car Steel is the place to get them. Don't forget to also visit Stock Car Steel's sister company, SRI Supplies, for racing and industry. SRI is the place to go for all your shop supply needs. Nuts, bolts, rivets, tapes, adhesives, cutting tools, chemicals, body shop supplies, paint shop supplies, lubricants, and more. A well-stocked race shop is a winning race shop, and the path to winning begins with 3 letters, SRI. For more information, visit stockcarsteel.com or SRI-supplies.com. Check them both out on Facebook or call them toll-free at 1-888-752-7272, 1-888-752-7272.
I'm Jacob Seelman.
And I'm Tom Baker,
You're listening to Speed 77 Radio.
powered by Race Chaser Online.
We are your home for motorsports.
Welcome back to tonight's Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Report. Tom Baker with you along with Kyle Souza. Kyle, let's talk a little bit about the Valenti Modified Racing Series before we get on out of here tonight. The Valenti Series is not a series that gets publicity outside of the New England area, but it really is a competitive series, and I just wanted to take some time tonight and give the fans around the country that are listening to this a little bit of an idea of what this series is and who some of the big names are that are in it. Just wrap up the series for us a little bit, if you would, their 2013 season.
Well, Tom, the 2013 season was the 10th anniversary season for the Valenti Modified Racing Series. Began back in 2003 with a brought together by series owner Jack Bateman, along with many of the statutes of the Valenti Modified Racing Series that still remain on it, such as the head announcer, John Spence Sr. He's been there since the series started back in 2003. John Spence Jr. was the former starter. They've turned the reins over to Rich Keeter now. The racing on the track has only got more intense over the last couple of seasons. Back over the 2003 and 2006 seasons, in that span, it was all about Kirk Alexander taking multiple wins at the Monadnock Speedway, the championship. And over the last couple of seasons, it's been more about the young talent in the modified ranks that move into the Valenti Modified Racing Series. For example, this past season, a great season of racing for the Valenti Modified Racing Series. Tommy Barrett, the young gun we spoke about that went to the North-South Shootout out of Mills, Mass. Well, he was really strong, finishing in the top 3 in the point standings. Really, really, really competitive at every track they went to. Barrett is going to be one of those guys that comes on strong over the final couple of seasons in his Valenti Series tour. These last two may have been his final. Rumor has it that Barrett will not be returning to the Valenti Modified Racing Series for the 2004.
Oh, really?
Yes, I've heard that rumor from various sources. Barrett's looking to go bigger and better, possibly with the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. But right now as it stands, Barrett will not be returning to the Valenti Modified Racing Series in 2014. And with that, former foe and former competitor on the Valenti Modified Racing Series, the Superior Royal number 99 of Richard Savory, has said that he will not be returning in 2014 to the Valenti Modified Racing Series. Both top 5 competitors in the point standings, and both won various races in the 2013 season. But they weren't the only ones that were strong. The champion of the Valenti Modified Racing Series, Rowan Pennick in Roscoe Racing's 25, won various events throughout the tour, including races at the Thompson Speedway and the Oxford Plains Speedway. Pennick was the strong suit of this series this season, dominating the point standings, dominating each and every race with competitive fashion, and winning the 2013 championship. Other races this season included victories by Tommy Barrett, Richard Savory. Todd Anarumo picked up a win at the Seekonk Speedway back in August. Todd Patnode picked up his first career win with the Valenti Modified Racing Series earlier this season. Dylan Kopic ran strong throughout the season in his rookie campaign. Ryan Priest, competitor on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour, came over, won a race at the Stafford Springs, Connecticut Speedway. It was just an overall great season for the Valenti Modified Racing Series. They've released part of their schedule based on the other tracks releasing schedule. Races next season at the Thompson Speedway, the Monadnock Speedway, and the Seekonk Speedway have already been decided on. It's going to be another great season, and now will be the 11th anniversary season for the Valenti Modified Racing Series in 2014. This series has revived a lot. It went a little bit of a downhill in the 2009 season, but they've really come on strong over the last couple of seasons. In 2013, nothing different. Rowan Pennick, the champion, and I know this series is going to continue to grow, especially with the failures, it appears, of the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Northern Tour.
So, all right. Well, we are looking to have Rowan Pennick on a future show here, hoping actually to have him on next week on the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Report. So we'll keep all of you posted through our Speed 77 Radio and Race Chaser online social media sites to let you know about that. But trying our best to line up Rowan for next week's broadcast. We hope you enjoyed the interview this evening with the Wheel and Modified Tour competitor, Woody Pitcat. That's, tell you what, man, Woody, I know you had him on your show up there in New England too, Kyle, and Woody's always a great interview, a lot of fun to talk to, and really insightful.
It's a great insight from Woody, not only with the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour, but as well as the SK Modified division. Woody's been a strong competitor throughout New England, and even in parts of the South. Woody's always been in the front, and I could see him possibly heading for a Whelen Modified Tour Championship in the couple of seasons to come, especially with the downfall of some of the big guns in the division.
Well, it will be interesting to see how that plays out as we move in the 2014 calendar year and the racing season gets underway. But for now, that's going to bring out the checkered flag on tonight's Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Report. Our show is a Speed 77 Radio Race Chaser online production. You can hear it in podcast form beginning 24 hours after the broadcast by visiting Race Chaser Online's YouTube channel. Special thanks tonight to Jacob Seelman of Speed 77 Radio for the production, as well as to the folks at Stock Car Steel SRI Supplies for making this show possible. You can join Jacob Seelman and me, along with Kyle Souza and our cast of characters, on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. right here on Speed 77 Radio's live stream for the Motorsports Madness Show. A full hour of news and lively conversation from all around the motorsports world. Until next Thursday, I'm Tom Baker for Kyle Souza, inviting you to check out StockCarSteel.com and SRI-Supplies.com for all your racing needs. For all the news of the day in motorsports, your first choice for short track news and driver interviews on the web is Speed 77 Radio, powered by RaceChaserOnline.com. So long, everyone, and have a great weekend.